Hello, hello, and welcome back. I am Maester Aelix, and this is Fallout 4 NCR Lone Ranger. And while it looks like we are right back where we left off, other than outside material sciences until or advanced systems, my bad, instead of outside of it, it has actually been like probably good 2 or 3 hours of me futzing and fiddling, reloading and poking around and eventually learning the error of my ways and pretty much redoing the quest. Uh, if you talk to Dr. Lee and do the Brotherhood thing first, you lock yourself out of doing the synth thing first, and oh god. So I had to reload and redo everything, but you know what? I don't mind, because I love playing Fallout 4, and I love you guys. So, yep, let's get going again. Well, the ranger had finally convinced Dr. Lee that leaving this place was a good idea, and while she knew Father would have things for her to do, she was none too willing to be here. Besides, Dr. Lee gave her a way to teleport out, so no reason not to do that. So she had to go back to the airport, you know, talk to Maxon and Proctor Ingram. Both had things for her to do, so again, she found that teleportation wasn't exactly, unpleasant. It's mostly from the pressure change, from changing elevations. When she got back to the place where she had teleported from, she found that, yeah, this equipment got pretty well wrecked in transit. She'd be come by some time later and fix it all up, but till then, she'd just leave it be. She was a little surprised to find another jackal hanging out, dead on the ground, but, well, dead jackals was a good thing. She really wasn't going to complain. Turns out they apparently can't learn their lesson, and we just keep attacking the Brotherhood of Steel. And you know what? She was perfectly fine with that. If the jackals just want to throw themselves up against the Brotherhood, well, she'd be glad to see the people she support take out the people she done. But first, she had to deliver some goods. First, a holotape to Proctor Ingram. Then, tell Maxon the good news.
Here's your holotape, Proctor. Hope the data on that thing was worth it.
Thanks. You know, it's good to see you're still in one piece. I wasn't sure what the interceptor would do to you.
You mean being zapped into energy and then put back together again? Piece of cake.
Standing down.
Apparently something else just happened.
Huge responsibility, but we'll get the job done.
She suspected it was more jackals, but couldn't confirm that, at least not at this time. Nope. Too bad that it broken up her conversation with Ingram.
Here's your holotape, Proctor. Hope the data on that thing was worth it.
Thanks. You know, it's good to see you're still in one piece. I wasn't sure what the interceptor would do to you.
Wait, you didn't expect me to survive the trip?
A device like the signal interceptor is way out of my league. I was hoping you'd make it, but I find it tough to have faith in technology I don't understand. Speaking of technology I don't understand, I'll get this holotape to Proctor Quinlan. I'm dying to find out what's on it.
Hopefully, it'll reveal a weakness in their defenses.
That would be the best case scenario. Before we jump to conclusions, let's see what Quinlan's scribes can get off of it. I'm sure the Institute has all of their data heavily encrypted, so it's gonna take some time to crack. After that, we'll have to see what we've got. There's no telling what we might have grabbed off their mainframe. In the meantime, your mission to recruit Dr. Lee still needs to be completed. I believe Elder Maxon gave you all of the details? Good luck, Knight.
Now all she had to do was get back up on the Predwin, tell Elder Maxon the good news.
FEV? Who knows what other sick projects the Institute's working on.
If Elder Maxon ordered me to follow him to the gates of hell, I'd be the first one to kick them open.
Being back up on the Predwin did give her a commanding view over the Commonwealth, and, well, she could appreciate things like that. Speaking of speaking, she took that time to look at Maxon and watch him look over that commanding view himself.
Ballanet Alpha at 93%. Compensate.
Elder Maxon?
I received word that Dr. Lee is returning to us. How cooperative do you think she'll be?
I convinced her that the Institute is the enemy, not the Brotherhood.
Well done, Knight. As soon as Dr. Lee arrives, we'll interrogate her aboard the Pridwin. She's been under the Institute's influence for the last decade, and we can't afford to take any chances. Now, on to other matters. Thanks to the success of your reconnaissance efforts, it's time to advance our operations to the next phase. I want you to report to Proctor Ingram at the airport. She has a special project that requires your immediate attention. Once again, Knight, you don't fail to impress. Dismissed.
Proximity sensor's green. Getting a 3-second ping back.
Well, that was mighty impressive of him to say. Though, if she was just going to go down to the airport, she did have a plan.
Please continue assisting Proctor Ingram in any way.
Attention. Due to increased raider activity, all leave requests to off-base sites have been temporarily suspended. Affected parties will have their leave compensated at the next available opportunity. That is all.
Yep, she was just going to take the leap. No reason not to, by the way.
Time to suit up.
Yep, she was real excited to go take this plunge again. Of course, she wanted to make sure she was properly prepared, so she took a deep breath and mentally prepared herself and just lamented on how she never seemed to have enough bullets.
Commonwealth's a dangerous place. Make sure you gear up before you head out.
Oh, she had prepared for that. Can't get much more geared up than power armor. Yeah, that was one of the more fun and interesting bits about this.
Now that we have intelligence on the Institute, we can use it against them to gain the upper hand.
Now all she had to do was stow her armor in a safe place.
Excuse me, Proctor Ingram.
So, I bet you're eager to get your hands dirty on our new project. How much has Maxon told you about it?
He didn't tell me anything.
Makes sense. We've been trying to keep it under wraps until the time was right. Come on. It's this way. Unless you're blind as a bat, I'm sure you've noticed that we've been building a gantry on the tarmac. Maxon and Kells have been looking for something that'll tip the balance when we go toe-to-toe with the Institute. Now, the Pridwin might be a big beast, but she's not built for fighting. That's where our new project comes in. This storage bay full of parts is what's left of Liberty Prime. The Brotherhood used it in the capital Wasteland as a weapon against the Enclave. It's the most advanced robot the Brotherhood has ever had at its disposal. Unfortunately, Liberty Prime was destroyed in the line of duty. I've spent the better part of the last few years piecing him back together. And if you think that was easy, try rebuilding a Protectron while you're blindfolded. In order to get Liberty Prime fully operational, we're going to need your help.
My help? I don't know a thing about robot repair.
Why don't we leave the repairing to my scribes? You're going to be doing the legwork. Now, the good news is that we've got most of Prime's parts fully assembled. The bad news is that it's going to take more than a few rivets and some spot welding to get them working again. The first problem is his CPU. It's fragile, and every time we try to feed power to it, it blows itself out.
That doesn't sound hard to fix.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll just run down to the local giant robot store and buy myself some how-to manuals. As much as I hate to admit it, Prime's power systems are out of my league. Luckily, you were able to convince Dr. Madison Lee to return to the Brotherhood. She was on the original build team for Liberty Prime a little over a decade ago. I've already spoken to her, but she's reluctant to work on Prime for some reason. If you could get her down here to lend a hand with his power system, we can get the big guy moving.
Oh, she'd already talked to Dr. Lee before. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. All she had to do is go back up to the Pridwin.
If it was up to me, I'd take every barrel, muty, and synth and shoot them into space.
That sounds like a mighty fine plan.
Attention. This is a notice to all personnel. Please think of your brothers and sisters down below. Thoroughly secure all gear while on the flight deck. Thank you.
Feeling creative today?
If you're here to talk me into working on Liberty Prime, you can forget it.
What changed your mind?
Nothing changed my mind. I promised you I'd return to the Brotherhood, and I've kept my end of the bargain.
Do I need to remind you why you made that promise in the first place?
Of course not. But you neglected to mention that I'd be asked to work on Liberty Prime. I've been down this road with the Brotherhood before. Why would I make the same mistake twice?
Why won't you help us with Liberty Prime?
I originally left the Brotherhood because I was tired of being stepped on and used. First, there was the water purification project, designed to freely benefit the entire capital Wasteland. Even though the Brotherhood allowed it to be activated, they wanted to control it. But that wasn't enough. They forced me to help design Liberty Prime. Turned my work into a weapon of war. I had enough, so I left. It's as simple as that.
If not for the Brotherhood, do it for Dr. Virgil.
What they did to Dr. Virgil was cruel. It was wrong. How could I be so blind? You really know how to push my buttons, don't you? Tell Proctor Ingram to get her scribes ready. It's going to take a hell of a lot of work to get Liberty Prime back online, but we'll get it done.
Well, that just pleased her as punch. Well, looks like she has to go take another leap down. Might as well enjoy the fall. On her way, she saw
Maxon might appear compassionate,
Dance and
but I can
figured,
assure you,
well, she had a minute to go
Institute
talk to
will
him.
face his wrath.
Paladin Dance.
Ready to continue our mission, soldier?
That depends. How are you feeling?
My power armor systems are within normal operating parameters, so I'm as ready as I'll ever be. You just give the word, and we can begin our mission.
Not now.
No problem. Let me know when you're ready.
She'd let him be for the
I'm proud
minute.
to be serving under Elder Maxon. He had enough alliance in his foolish ways.
Now to get out to the flight deck. And the announcement to watch out for dropping things over the edge. Well, she figured she was big enough to see where she was going.
The air superiority we need to win this war.
Well, that was the plan.
We'll stop the Institute. For Maxon and for the Brotherhood.
That sounded real nice. It was a mighty fine thing to see. Liberty Prime hanging there, pride of the Brotherhood, in the shadow of the Predwin. Yeah, if her heart didn't beat for the NCR, it'd be, real hard-pressed not to beat for the Brotherhood of Steel at this time.
Ingram?
Well, things are off to a good start. Isn't that right, Doctor?
I hope so. Prime suffered some significant damage to his memory core. I wish your people would have been a bit more careful, Proctor. The good news is that the damage isn't irreversible, and I should be able to get the power flowing into his CPU core without overloading. If your people stay out of my way, that is.
Charming, isn't she?
Yeah. Sorry about that, Ingram.
Don't worry about it. We might be butting heads on a few issues, but I've dealt with worse. Besides, Dr. Lee's worth all the aggravation. We're working with one of Prime's original designers. I don't see it getting any better than that. In fact, since things are going so well, we're gonna have you start building his electromagnetic actuators.
His what now?
You're acting like I know what those are.
Oh, I know you haven't the faintest idea what I'm talking about. I just like watching you squirm. The actuators are what allows Liberty Prime's arms and legs to move. Prime's new limbs are way too heavy for the simple hydraulic pistons he had in the past. We're gonna have to rip those out, construct a brand new system using electromagnets, and install them in his limbs. What we need you to do is build the actuators for us.
Now that you know what the actuators are, you need to know how to make them. These are the plans and the materials list. Don't lose them.
Now, before you get that look on your face, you'll be happy to know that we have plenty of the raw materials on that list right here at the airport. The only thing we need you to head out and find is a high-powered magnet. According to Proctor Quinlan, the best place to find one is in any of the ruined hospitals around the Commonwealth. We've already sent out a few teams to find the rest of the high-powered magnets you'll need. They should be back by the time you return.
Once you start building the actuators, we need one for each limb, so you'll need to make a total of 4. Good luck.
Well, that didn't sound too incredibly difficult for someone who didn't know robots at all. Oh well. Just a matter of doing it, apparently. Fortunately, she'd seen one or two of them high-powered magnets in her travels, though she didn't know exactly how many of them got broken down for bits and bobs throughout the time. She had she'd been moving all of her things to the workshop here at the airport. You know, make things convenient. Well, she had a few. That didn't. Uh, that didn't suck. Of course, she would have to put down a few things if she wanted to move quickly. Thankfully, a lot of these guns could just be stowed for later. Now, to actually construct these actuators, that would be a whole different process. Guess you'd have to go talk to Ingram about it. Thankfully, it seemed a pretty straightforward process overall.
Lancer Captain Kells is one of the finest officers I've ever had the pleasure of serving under.
Proctor Ingram.
That's all 4 actuators. Delivered and done. Nice work.
Right on schedule. I've completed the restoration of Prime's basic functions, and he's ready to go. In fact, it's getting difficult to explain to the system why it can't move right now.
Well, as soon as my scribes get those actuators in place, we'll have his arms and legs installed in no time. Which brings me to your next assignment. It won't be long before Prime can walk and talk, but he's missing one last important element. His nukes. Without them, his offensive systems aren't operating at peak capacity.
What's Prime armed with?
Prime has 2 weapon systems, his eye laser and his nuke pack. The eye laser can target a hostile from hundreds of yards out and take it down with pinpoint accuracy. His nukes are modified Mark 28 nuclear bombs. They used to drop the things from bombers during the war. Just one of the nukes is equivalent to about 3 or 4 Fat Man shells. Basically, whatever it hits isn't getting up again. His eye laser is almost ready to go, but without nukes to load into his pack, he's fighting at less than half his capability.
It's gonna be impossible to find a stockpile big enough for him.
You might be right. Prime's bomb pack is fitted for Mark 28 nuclear bombs, the same type of bombs that were dropped from aircraft during the Great War. The Commonwealth was a major staging area for the military's air force, so we assumed we wouldn't have trouble finding them. But since we arrived, our scouting teams haven't located a single bomb.
That's going to be a problem. Without a fully loaded nuke pack, Prime won't have the firepower to take on the Institute.
Maybe we can arm him with something else.
It'd take months, or even years, to install a new weapon system on Prime. We're having a tough time making all the parts we need to get him running as it is. But before you give up hope, there's actually a silver lining here. Proctor Quinlan has located some records regarding a military installation, which was used as a nuclear weapons storage facility. We're fairly certain this included a stockpile of the Mark 28s. The catch is that the installation is located somewhere within the glowing sea.
What do you mean you're only fairly certain? Are they in there or not?
The glowing sea is so heavily irradiated, it's giving us echoed readings and false positives. We're just gonna have to trust the records on this one. Scribe Halen's established a communications point on the frontier of the glowing sea. I suggest you head out there first, and establish a signal protocol with her so that the nukes can be airlifted out once you've located them. Hopefully, by the time you've returned, we'll be ready to wake Prime up, and you can say hello. Good luck, Knight.
Rearming Prime with nukes should get him back to full fighting potential.
Well, that was certainly a heck of a thing that just happened. The Ranger figured she'd need a good minute to set her mind right, possibly go around and purchase some ammo. She really only used the one kind, so she could trade in what she got for what she needs. But it also would behoove her to go hit up her workshops and places, fix up at least one other gun. She knew just the one she wanted to work with. However, there was a lot that needed to be done before she headed out to the glowing sea. And the whole thing just was a bit daunting. Plus, seeing all these dead jackals around did give her a bit of worry. Where were they coming from? And were they coming here to fight her, or was it something else entirely? She just wasn't sure. A lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers. Which leads me to say thank you all for joining me. I hope you're enjoying my content as much as I'm enjoying it for all of you. Again, sorry for the short one, but you can tell I'm ramping up for things. If you are enjoying my content, then please do the wonderful YouTube thing of like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell icon, all that wonderful stuff. You do.
If it looks dead,
As I like saying,
warn
it's
its
like
measure.
YouTube channel Wheaties when you do that. It just makes everything better. So please do that, and of course, share my content with everyone you know. Family, friends, enemies, frenemies, nemesis even. And that would just make everything just all the more sweeter. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining me, and if you'd like to support my channel, please take a look in the links section down below in the description. There's a couple of really good links there. One's my Discord server, and one's something a little extra special. So please check those out, and I would greatly appreciate it. Anyway, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all next time.